Welcome to Jayhawks Sports Talk Tuesday. Glad you're with us. Mike Smith, we're with Kyle West, and we are really excited because I think it's the best time of year, especially if you're a Kansas fan. It is finally postseason for basketball. And, of course, the reason we get here, first of all, was the Missouri game last Saturday in which the Jayhawks really took it to the Tigers, a 20-plus point victory in Columbia.
Yeah, great way to end the season for the Jayhawks. 77-56 was the final score. Tyshawn Taylor leading the way with 13 points for the Kansas Jayhawks. They spoiled senior day out in Columbia for the Tigers.
Yeah, and it was a special senior day for Missouri. Of course, we know Kansas with Sherron Collins. Really, senior day in Missouri was just as special. You had Keith Ramsey, J.T. Tiller, among others. A pretty special senior class for those Missouri fans, and unfortunately, they did not go out the way it was planned. Losing 77-56, Jayhawks looked everything like the number one team that they just recently claimed again in this week's rankings.
They did. Missouri put up a good fight in the first half especially. They kept it tight for most of the game, in the first half that is. But then, the Jayhawks pulled away. Marcus Morris had a little bit of a scary moment in there as he crashed into some advertisements, but he was okay.
He was, and you mentioned Tyshawn Taylor being the leading scorer for the Jayhawks with 13 points. It was kind of an interesting game. First of all, there was two big runs that really put the Jayhawks on top for good. A 16-0 run at the end of the first half in order to lead 40-24 at the break, and then they had a 17-2 run in the second half. So you would think with those big scoring runs, maybe one player carrying the load, but Tyshawn Taylor, 13 points, the leading scorer. Multiple players had 12 points, and there was 4 players in double digits. Really a team effort in this one.
Yeah, definitely a team effort. KU out-rebounded Missouri 45-28, and Missouri shot an abysmal 13.6% from three-point land. So, when a team shoots that bad, they're definitely not going to win. And then you look at some of the other performers. We mentioned Tyshawn Taylor already, but Marcus Morris with another double-double in Big 12 play with 12 and 10, and Sherron Collins finishing off the regular season for him with 12 points.
12 points on 4 of 6 shooting. That's the nice thing. Sometimes we've seen Sherron Collins with a low point total, and he may go 1 of 8, 1 of 9 from the field in a certain half. This time it was just because he found others, and was getting them the shots instead of himself. But he only took 6 shots in the game, 12 points. That's a very good ratio. And he only played 30 minutes, too, which is nice to get a little rest heading into the postseason. And speaking of the postseason, along with that comes some regular season awards, and multiple Jayhawks were honored. Sherron Collins and Cole Aldrich, as most might expect, were all Big 12 first team. Also, Cole Aldrich earned Defensive Player of the Year for the second straight season. Marcus Morris comes in on the second team, and Xavier Henry got honorable mention along with being on the all-rookie team.
Yeah, a couple good things there. Marcus Morris definitely deserving of that, after his tremendous Big 12 play. So the second team All-American or Big 12 there for him, and then the block party that's continued pretty much throughout the season for Cole Aldrich, getting him that Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah, and Marcus Morris making all Big 12 second team, pretty special honor, but it just was announced today that he also garnered most improved player in the nation, according to Yahoo Sports. I think that has to be a huge compliment to his work ethic and how he really developed himself from his freshman season all the way into his sophomore season. And some other national awards that came out today, Sherron Collins on multiple All-American teams on the second team of those, and Cole Aldrich even was on a third-team All-American, according to one publication. So, it's not just the Big 12 where they've dominated for so long. It's also nationally they're getting a lot of respect.
Yeah, they are nationally, and Xavier Henry out there being mentioned for the all-rookie teams nationally as well. So, getting a lot of pub are all the Jayhawks.
And so with that, the regular season coming to a close, it's now time for the postseason. As I mentioned, most exciting time of the year, and it starts with the Big 12 tournament, which is really a fun-filled 4 days. A lot of upsets usually take place. Of course, KU was the unfortunate byproduct of one of those upsets last year, losing the first round to Baylor. And as you can see the bracket here, Kansas's first-round matchup will either be Colorado or Texas Tech. You would think they would be able to handle that. And then down the road, it could be anybody from Texas A&M to Missouri in that second game. And then on the other side of the bracket, a lot of quality teams. You have 4 NCAA tournament teams on the bottom side of that bracket.
Definitely. No team really needs to improve their NCAA thing in resume, that is, for the tournament. But the Jayhawks definitely want to go out winning the Big 12 championship like they won the regular season.
I really think they have a decent shot. it's kind of odd to say decent, since they went 15-1 in the regular season. But again, we have to emphasize that if you remember last year, Kansas Jayhawks come in with a 14-2 conference record and all of a sudden are out on the first day, and a very unusual feeling for most of the Jayhawk players. They actually had to go to class on Friday before spring break. So it's something they're not used to doing. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, but you never know. Upsets do take place. I don't see it happening in this year, though. I really think the Jayhawks go all the way to the championship, and I give them as good a chance as anybody as taking home that conference trophy.
I definitely agree. No one below a 3 seed has ever won the Big 12 championship tournament, so that bodes well for the Kansas Jayhawks as they are the #1 seed, and they've won 6 of the 12 tournaments that have existed. So they have a pretty good track record.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. If they all of a sudden take home their 7th out of 13th, that would be the majority of all of the conference tournament championships to ever be held. The majority of those trophies would be here in Lawrence, Kansas. Let's expand the picture a little bit to the NCAA tournament now. And of course, this time of year, a lot of fans trying to decide, do they want to buy tickets? Where might the Jayhawks go? Pretty set in stone for KU being going at least the #1 seed and potentially the overall #1 seed. Really, the only place something could change is in a regional. If they do get knocked out early in the Big 12 tournament, they may go to Houston, Texas. But right now, it looks like they're the favorites to go to St. Louis.
Yeah, definitely short road trips for the Kansas Jayhawks. Even if they do have to go to Houston, it's not that far away. But St. Louis, obviously, more of a shorter distance for them, so they'll be able to get in there, have less of a bus ride and plane ride for air lag and all that type of thing for the tournament.
And fans can guarantee that it'll be Oklahoma City for the first round. No way they're going to be bumped out of that site. And then also, of course, the Final Four will be in Indianapolis. And speaking of the NCAA tournament, a lot of students are interested in how do I get tickets to go to that and see the Jayhawks progress throughout the postseason. Well, our very own Mike Lavery joins us in the newsroom now and has more on that.
The NCAA tournament is right around the corner, and with the Jayhawks poised to make another Final Four run, students will be able to enter a lottery to purchase tickets. On Sunday, March 14th, students will be able to request one ticket until 5 p.m. on Monday, March 15th on KUtickets.com. Tickets will be confirmed no later than noon on Tuesday, March 16th, and students will need to confirm or decline tickets by 5 p.m. Individuals selected in the lottery to receive tickets to the first and second round are guaranteed tickets to the first round, but will only receive tickets to the second round if KU advances. For the regional games, lottery winners will receive tickets for both games regardless of whether KU advances to the second game. Final Four student tickets will be available, however, additional information will be sent at a later date via email or online. For more information, log on to KUtickets.com.
All right, thank you very much, Mike, for that report. And Mike will join us later with a report on the football awards, so you want to stay tuned for that. You also want to stay tuned because on the other side of the break, we're going to be previewing the postseason for the women's basketball team, plus much, much more coming up on Jayhawk Sports Talk Tuesday.